The stage is set in American presidential politics for a rematch between U.S. President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump. For key takeaways from Super Tuesday, we turn to VOA Correspondent Jessica Stone this morning. Hello there, Jessica.
Good morning.
Good morning. Let's begin with former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley's exit from the Republican presidential race, which, clears the way for Trump to get the Republican Party nomination. How did Haley do on Super Tuesday?
Well, she did the best that any Republican female candidate has ever done, winning 2 states in all, Vermont and the District of Columbia. She came up with 89 delegates, but unfortunately for her, former President Trump has 995 delegates at the end of Super Tuesday, and he's just a couple hundred delegates from clinching the nomination in full. We expect that to happen in just the next couple of weeks. So she did exit the race, as you mentioned, on Wednesday morning. In her speech, though, she congratulated Donald Trump, but she did not endorse him, saying, quote, "It is up to Trump to, quote, earn her supporters' votes."
Right, so clearly Super Tuesday was a good one for Trump. How did he handle the win then?
Well, he did not mention Haley at all during his speech on Tuesday night. On Wednesday morning, though, he did write this on social media, quote, "Nikki Haley got trounced last night in record-setting fashion, despite the fact that Democrats, for reasons unknown, are allowed to vote in Vermont and various other Republican primaries." Those are completely legal proceedings. There are several open primaries, 6 to be exact, on Super Tuesday, in which you can vote in a primary of your choice, no matter what party you are. So Republicans now are moving on. They're rallying around Donald Trump. We saw Senator Mitch McConnell, the Senate Minority Leader and a prominent Republican in the party, endorse Donald Trump earlier today. And Wednesday morning, the Republican National Committee called him the presumptive nominee. This clears the way for donors to move their money all into the RNC, into his pockets, as opposed to being divided with other Republican candidates for the office. And it is also key, of course, because Donald Trump is facing so many legal cases. The party has had to face whether or not it's going to pay for those legal fees and some of those fines that have already been assessed. There was an effort in the Republican Party to prevent any money from the RNC going to Donald Trump's legal fees, and that has failed.
Right. Well, what President Joe Biden is saying that there's room for Nikki Haley supporters in his campaign. He's also giving the State of the Union address on Thursday night. How will he leverage that opportunity to get reelected?
It's the most airtime he's going to take this week. And in light of what happened on Super Tuesday and the very little commentary that he has given publicly about the election, this is really his opportunity to reach voters and to reach specifically those Haley voters who are hesitant to support Donald Trump. He does, though, head into the speech with one of the lowest approval ratings on record for any sitting U.S. president. An Economist poll showing that a majority of Americans in that survey say the country is on the wrong track. He's expected to talk about immigration and the economy, about how his policies have been good for the economy and how he is willing to support tough immigration enforcement. You'll recall that he did back a Senate effort a couple of weeks back to implement some new immigration reforms, and Donald Trump pressured the Republicans in Congress not to support that bill after many of them had done so. So Biden also expected to call for additional funding for Ukraine, and in light of what happened to President Zelensky with that near miss of that attack, that also is expected to come up. But keep in mind, his wife was invited to attend the State of the Union address by the White House, and she has declined.
Definitely. Jessica, I cannot help but point out questions over Biden. He's already the oldest sitting U.S. president. How do voters feel about Biden's age? I have to ask.
It's an important question and something that will put him in the spotlight because he is on TV essentially for at least an hour, if not more. So he will be closely watched, all of his mannerisms. And analysts say that he's going to be watched for his energy level, his vibrancies level, his vitality, stamina, control over verbal slips. We've seen him make those in the past. But, he's not the only one who is taking criticism for age by the American public. An AP NORC poll shows that most American adults don't think either of these candidates, Trump or Biden, are particularly mentally capable to be president. Of course, Trump on the campaign trail has taken to slamming Biden for what he calls cognitive lapses. And just last month, the special counsel report did criticize President Biden for memory loss, for hazy and poor memory, claiming he couldn't even recall the date of his son Beau's death. That made the president very angry. He shot back very forcefully, saying his memory is just fine. But as I say, Trump has had his own slips. He appeared to confuse Republican rival Nikki Haley with Nancy Pelosi, the former House Speaker. And he also said that Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban was the leader of Turkey. So Americans not overly thrilled by the age of these two candidates going into a general election in which they have a choice between a 77-year-old and an 81-year-old.
Right. It looks like they are on the same page here. All right, Jessica, thank you so much for the coverage today. We appreciate it.
You bet. See you soon.